Nicole's Accountability. My name is Nicole. I will be your host today, and my co-host Paco is right here. Say hi, Paco. Paco the sober dog. Ruff ruff. He's Paco the sober dog. Okay, go get your spot. Okay, he sits right behind me while I do my lives every day. Okay, so I'm going to be doing my makeup, and we're going to be discussing, or I'm going to be sharing with you guys how my drug addiction began and how I told my parents about it. So, if you are new here, I am a person in long-term recovery. I've been sober since July 13th of 2015. I got sober when my little boy was removed from my care by CPS, and I've always shared that very openly here on my channel. And I try to share my story to help other men and women that might be going through a similar situation. And I share my story to hopefully inspire them and help them make changes in their own life. So, yeah. So let's get right into it. Let's not waste any time. So, first, you need to know a little bit about my background. Okay, so I am half Mexican and half Italian with some other stuff mixed in there, but that's the basis of my ethnicity. And growing up, my dad's Italian, my mom is Mexican. My dad was a very, very controlling Italian man. Okay, and so he was controlling about the food we ate, he was controlling about, people we hung out with. He was controlling about just everything. And anything a dad would be controlling about, my dad was controlling about it, okay? So just imagine. Let me grab a beauty blender. So, where did I put that beauty blender? Oh, there it is, right there. Growing up, I was sheltered, major sheltered. My mom had us in this church, you guys. It was a Pentecostal church, okay? So I wasn't allowed to cut my hair. I wasn't allowed to wear jewelry or makeup or earrings, pants. I could only wear dresses. Like, I was really, really sheltered. So growing up, we were in that church, and I wasn't allowed to watch like secular TV where, like at that time when I was a kid growing up, Michael Jackson was really, really popular, and all my friends were like watching MTV and stuff like that, and I wasn't allowed to do that. So it's very sheltered. That religion that we were in, we weren't in the religion for all my life, okay? So it started out Pentecostal, United Pentecostal, and we were in that religion till I was about 10. And by the time I was 10 years old, my mom decided, you know what, this isn't working out. Like, we were getting picked on in school. Like, I was coming home crying and really upset because people were calling me taco and burrito and making fun of me. And so I came home and talked to my mom and dad about it, and we left that church and we went into a non-denominational church. Okay? So when we started in that non-denominational church, I was able to wear pants and skirts and pants and leggings and shorts and stuff like that, and I finally felt like I fit in. Well, in our family unit, okay, my mother and father didn't understand mental health, okay? My parents were not very educated about mental health problems. Now, my mother came from a house of addicts, okay? My mother's father was an alcoholic. My dad's father was an alcoholic. And my aunts and uncles, most of them have all struggled with addiction. My Uncle Eddie struggled with addiction. My Uncle Gabriel struggled with cocaine addiction. My Aunt Sandra struggled with cocaine addiction. My Auntie Rose struggled with alcoholism. And so those are all my brothers and sisters, my mom's brothers and sisters. So my mom knew about drug addiction. She was the oldest of all the brothers and sisters. So she never struggled with addiction. She saw her brothers and sisters making the wrong choices, and she didn't do those things, She was kind of put in a position at a young age because my Grandma and my grandpa got divorced, where my mom had to kind of be the bigger, be an adult and take care of her brothers and sisters when she was a child. And so my mom matured really, really quickly, and she didn't get into addiction. Now, my dad, his dad was very abusive and would physically and verbally abuse my dad. And so my dad is the oldest, and he has a little brother named Joey. So Uncle Joey, and then my dad. And my dad's dad, drank for a really long time until he got older, and then made amends to my dad about the beatings. And he came and he traveled here to Arkansas to visit with my dad, and try to mend their relationship before he passed away. He passed away years ago. He passed away when I was like in ninth grade. So anyway, my dad was super controlling. And my mom, she is like a super duper, like, just really sweet, understanding, like, tries to make everything go with the flow kind of mom. Okay. So when we were growing up, my dad was really strict on all of us about what we ate, how much we ate, because he was very insecure about his own weight. My dad was a bodybuilder. He did that on the side, and then his main job was he was a postal worker. He was a regular rural carrier for a while. Then he was promoted to he was promoted from a sorter to a carrier. Then my dad became a postmaster, and that's where he retired at a postmaster level, which is the guy that's over the post office in that district. So my dad's a really hard worker. He's always taught me to work for everything I have and be honest. And I got a lot of the qualities that I have today from my dad. My big heart's from my dad, and my mom too. And my sensitiveness is from my dad, and my mom too. But me and my dad just show it in different ways, So when I was growing up, I always kind of felt like I was like trying to make my dad happy. I was trying to win his approval, have him say that he was proud of me, and that kind of thing. Which honestly, you guys, he used to always be proud of me before I started using drugs. He was always proud of me because I made good grades. I always had good grades in school. I was always a very athletic and outgoing, kid. I loved playing sports. I was good at it. I played fast pitch softball. I played basketball as a point guard on the basketball team. And I was a dancer. I danced. I was on the dance team. I was in the band. I was in marching band. I was very, very, I did things. Sometime around the time I was 16 years old, I had started, getting an interest in boys, and I started dating this guy named JR. And I don't talk about him a lot because it was just such a immature relationship. We were just really young. But that was the precursor to what I'm going to tell you next. So I started dating JR, I think when I was in 8th grade. And I had just liked him so much, right? I thought, oh my gosh, I'm in love. He's just the bee's knees. I can't live without him. And I kind of would get like obsessed with guys like that. It was like an unhealthy kind of thing because I didn't know, I was brand new in relationships, So I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to marry him. He's everything. Well, 8 months later, he broke up with me. He left me and cheated on me with a girl named Rhonda. And you guys, I was devastated. Okay, so after he cheated on me with Rhonda, I thought, I'm never going to date another boy again. So I went to 8th grade to 9th grade, and then around the summer into my 10th grade year, I met Robert. And Robert was just everything. He was tall, dark, and handsome. He was like 6 foot tall, dark, brown hair, really beautiful green eyes, great skin. He was just a great guy. He was fun to be around, but he went to another school. He went to the inner city school, it was called Hot Springs, and I went to a school out in the country called Lake Hamilton. So I started dating Robert, and right before I had started dating him, you guys, I was already feeling really, really ashamed of the way I looked. I felt like everybody else was skinny and I was fat, and I wasn't fat at all. That's the thing. Like, looking back on the way I felt as a kid and the way I feel now, I'm just like want to kick myself in the ass because I wasn't fat at all. I wasn't fat at all. I was very in shape. I was very athletic. I had a great body, but I felt like I wasn't. I felt like I was fat because all my friends were little bitty skinny white girls. No offense to my white girls out there, but you know what I mean. They were all skinny, 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 you know, very skinny. And I started feeling really, really, really ashamed of my body. I felt like I wasn't, good enough. I was feeling like I was fat. A lot of the reasons why was because my dad always talked about it. He always talked about his weight, and he would talk about his weight, but he would reference me and my sisters at the same time, not realizing the damage that he was causing, Hey, you're welcome, Pat. Love you, baby. Not realizing the damage that he was causing in our life just by always referencing our weight and his own weight. Like, I just don't even think my dad realized that it was creating somebody who had a complex, right? I started to really struggle with my self-esteem and my self-worth, and it all centered around my weight. Okay, so when I started dating Robert, I was already in this headspace that, like, I wasn't good enough, I wasn't pretty enough, I needed to lose weight, I didn't compare, look at all my friends, and I started to starve myself. And that's how this all started. It all started with an eating disorder. I felt so ashamed of my weight. And I want to show you a picture of me when I was in this grade that I'm telling you all about. Okay? Because I wasn't overweight, but my mind told me I was. Okay? I was gorgeous. My mind told me that I was ugly and fat and unacceptable and nobody would love me and I would never have somebody that would want to marry me. I would be single for the rest of my life, right? And that's what I would tell myself. And a lot of the reasons why I told myself this was because my father, bless his heart, didn't know any better. My father would say things like, he would listen to, there's a song that is an older song, and it's called, "If you want to be happy for the rest of your life, find an ugly girl to make your wife. Da 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 da. Find an ugly girl to marry you. If you want to be happy for the rest of your life." Okay? I'm the one in the pink sweater. That's high school Nicole. I was fucking gorgeous. Okay? Let me show that to you one more time. Can y'all see that good? Yeah, there you go. That's my dad, that's my mom, then there's me, Michelle in the middle, and my baby sister, Christine. Okay? I was fucking gorgeous, dude. So, I was starving myself. I went to band camp that summer. Okay? I went to band camp that summer, and when I got back from band camp, I was like 20 pounds smaller. Okay? And, I felt like I finally had control of my life. I finally felt like, you know what? This is it. I'm doing it. Like, I'm losing weight. I'm getting skinny. Nothing can touch me now. I hadn't used any drugs yet. Just simply went to band camp. It was hot as hell. I walked everywhere I went, and I only drank Diet Coke and ate a Snickers bar every day. I would get a Snickers bar out of the vending machine, and I would drink a fucking Diet Coke. And I came back, and so many people at my school started praising me. Wow, Nicole, you look so good. You're so beautiful, Nicole. I can really tell a difference. And I started getting all this positive reinforcement for losing all this weight, right? And it felt good. It felt really good. So then I started thinking, well, I have to do something to keep this up, to maintain this. What if I gain weight back? What if I get fat? Oh my God, everybody will know, you know? So what did I do? I cried and I cried and I told my mom how much I had been struggling. My mom, not knowing any better and not knowing the signs of an eating disorder, or even probably even thinking that that could be happening, right? Um, Said, okay, and she took me to our family doctor, and he wrote me a prescription for Adipex, you guys, at like 16 years old, 17 years old. Okay, I'm not sure exactly what year it was, but I know I was young. I was still in high school. So I come home with a prescription for Adipex, and thank God he wouldn't write me no more than like a 30-day supply, because I took that fucking prescription and I was speeding around town, baby. Okay? Speeding around town. And that was the first time I ever took a medication that made me feel different, that made me feel good, confident, beautiful, outgoing, fun, right? And when I ran out of the medicine, I had started to experiment with other things like marijuana and alcohol. And I had started to go over to Robert's house and go to parties and lie to my parents about where I was going. And at that time, it just so happened that my mother and father were struggling with my sister Michelle. My sister Michelle had undiagnosed bipolar disorder, okay? Oppositional defiance disorder, ASPD. At this time, they diagnosed her with ASPD. That diagnosis has since changed, and if you knew my sister, you'd understand why. A lot of the reasons why she was diagnosed with a bunch of different stuff is because she was so bad because of her undiagnosed and untreated bipolar disorder. My sister would go on these manic rages where she would stay up for days, not on any drugs, okay? This is before she started using drugs. And jump out of her window and not come back. And my parents were worried sick. She would fight people at our school and get kicked out. And I would have to take her home. This is right around the time when I got my car. I had to take her home from school because she would get kicked out of school. And my parents were so overwhelmed, so busy trying to save my sister's life that they were preoccupied. And my addiction went under the radar for a while. By my junior year in high school, the cat was out of the bag. The end of my junior year into my senior year. And I had gotten really, really drunk with my friend Jessica and my friend Jerry. And what we had done was we had met this guy that Jessica was seeing at this hotel room, and he bought me a bottle of Seagram 7. And I drank that bitch. I drank the bottle of Seagram 7 with 7-Up, and then I went to the basketball game in front of God and everybody with my dance uniform on, which is basically, it's a cheerleading outfit, okay? Had no bloomers under it. All I had under it was a pair of thong underwear, okay? And I am in the bleachers, because we would stand in the bleachers, and then we would go out on the basketball thing and perform at halftime. I didn't even make it to our halftime performance. That's how drunk I was in the bleachers. I'm coming down the bleachers to go to the bathroom because Jessica's trying to get me out of that school so I don't get arrested. And I almost fall on my coach's pregnant wife. And he looks at me with a death stare, okay? So I'm like, oh God. I don't realize he's looking at me with a death stare, but I know he's upset with me. So I go stumbling into the bathroom with Jessica, And Jessica gets in there and she's like, bitch, we got to get you the fuck up out of here, ho. You're about to get arrested. And so I'm in there, I sit down to go pee, and I go bam, 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 bam on the stall. My head's just going like this, like a pinball machine. Okay? Because I can't hold myself up. That's how fucking drunk I am. So she gets me off the toilet and starts walking me towards the door to leave the school. We were at Hot Springs High, so it wasn't our school. And Principal Brooks taps me on the shoulder and says, "You're not going anywhere, little missy." And takes me in the office and starts interrogating me and asking me where I got the liquor from, you know? And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know where I got it. You know, I'm just lying. I'm lying because I'm not going to tell on my friends, right? I'm not going to tell on Jessica or Jerry. So Jessica's crying. I'm crying. And she's like, can I please just call her parents and have them come and get her? And Principal Brooks is like, no, she's going to jail. And so he calls the law on me, dude, and has them come and pick me up for public intoxication. And that was the first time that my parents were aware of how bad my alcoholism and addiction had started to get. So my dad and my mom come pick me up from the police station, the drunk tank, and my dad is fucking livid, okay? He's pissed. They can't believe it. And that's when I yell out to them that Michelle's smoking meth, I'm smoking meth too, you know, I'm drinking alcohol, I'm doing weed, and I don't care what they think, right? I'm drunk. And my dad and my mom are just in shock because they knew there was something going on with me and my sister at the same time, but they were so preoccupied with her mental health struggles, I don't even think it crossed their minds that drugs could be involved, you know? So, there was no me going to treatment. There was no any of that. My parents they grounded me. They grounded me. They thought that grounding me from the people I was hanging out with would stop me from using drugs, which was the stupidest thing they could have done because all it made me want to do was go behind their back even more, and that's what I did. I went behind their back even more and was sneaking out of my room and not coming home when they asked me to, and rebelling against everything they were trying to correct me, you know? Now, if you're a parent out there and you're watching this video, this is what should have happened. My mom and dad should have heard what I said, talking about crack cocaine, methamphetamine, alcohol, and they should have gotten me into therapy ASAP. ASAP. I should have been seeing a therapist, okay? They should have taken me down somewhere and said, our daughter's struggling with substance use and we don't know what to do and we need help. But they didn't know what to do, right? They didn't do that. They tried to say, oh, this is just a phase that Nicole's going through. You know, we'll be able to get over this. You know, she'll be okay. My sister, on the other hand, my sister was acting out so badly. See, I wasn't acting out badly. I was just doing drugs. My sister was acting out so badly and getting arrested and whatnot that my parents had to have her committed into a mental institution. Okay, like it was really, really bad. And so my sister went into this mental institution called the Rose Home, and I was devastated because that was my ride or die. You know, my sister and me, we did everything together. My parents made this rule to where if I went anywhere, I had to take my sister with me. So I wasn't allowed to like go out and have fun without my sister. And so I just started taking my sister with me when I would go out with Robert and his friends. And I remember one time in particular, I was smoking weed like I knew I wasn't supposed to be doing. And my sister, I told everybody, don't give my sister any weed. My parents will be so mad at me. You know, she's not allowed to smoke. Blah, 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 blah. I can, but she can't. I look underneath the fucking coffee table, and my sister is underneath the coffee table, and they're passing her the blunt. She was underneath there like... And I was so mad. I was like, I'm serious. Y'all are going to get me in trouble. And so I was doing all this stuff, and my poor sister was, you know, with me, and she had already been in drugs. She got into drugs years before I even knew what drugs were. But she was down there sneaking the hits, you know. And so me and my sister had gotten, used to doing everything together. I would took her with me whenever I would go partying and stuff. And I wasn't gonna. I had to. Well, then they put her in the Rose home and they had her committed. And that was for her bipolar situation, y'all, because it was really bad. Like there was moments in our childhood when my sister would get up in the mornings and she didn't want to go to school. So she would go to the kitchen, grab a knife, and chase me and my mom and my sister around the house with it. Mad because she didn't want to be woke up and she didn't want to go to school. Do you know what I'm saying? So, like, it was really a serious situation that my parents had to do something to correct what was going on. And it got so bad that my sister was not going to school. So, guess what happens when you don't go to school? Truancy officers. Oh, sorry, guys. Sorry about that. Truancy officers start showing up at your home, right? That's what happened with my mom and dad. Truancy officers start showing up and threatening to arrest my mother and father for my sister. Okay, cool. Arrest my mother and father for my sister not going to school. So it was getting to be like a really serious problem, my sister's mental health and acting out. So that's how I was able to kind of like, slide underneath the radar. Well, while my parents were so consumed with my sister's issues, I was getting worse and worse in my drug addiction. I was going to concerts and parties with Robert that I had no business going to at 17 and 18 years old. I was tripping acid. I was doing mushrooms. I was doing a lot of cocaine. Robert didn't like methamphetamine, so I had to lie to him about doing meth. I'm on it right now. I'll give it to you in a minute. I had to lie to him. No, that was my job. I had to lie to him about doing methamphetamine because it was like I was allowed to do everything else, but I couldn't do methamphetamine, And so my parents knew I was getting out of control, but I just don't think they knew what to do or how to stop it or how to help it. And so they kind of just started focusing more on my sister and getting her better and her mental health, straightened out. So after my sister got out of the Rose home, she left the school that we all went to together, and my parents put her in a school over in Cutter Morning Star, which was like farther away from our house, right? And my sister got pregnant. She met a boy and got pregnant. So now my parents not only are preoccupied and worried about my sister and her mental health, but now my sister's pregnant. And she ends up having a baby and all that. So I was kind of like doing my own thing without getting caught because of my sister's inability to, her mental health affecting her ability to act right, And so I really didn't really say like I have a problem and I need help with my drug addiction until I was probably like 21 or 2. I had been kicked out of my house. I lived with my mom and dad until I was 18. And when I graduated high school, I got a really good job working in the cosmetic department at JCPenney, and I loved it, having so much fun. I had just got my own car. My dad co-signed for me my own car. I had gotten another part-time job at Sonic while I worked at JCPenney, and I was working. I was paying my bills. I was building my credit. And my dad was like, well, she's doing great. She's working. She's building her credit. I was doing everything, but I was addicted to methamphetamine, highly addicted to methamphetamine. I would use methamphetamine when I would go to work every day. I got high. I would snort a line on the back of the fucking toilet and on break. Like I was a high functioning methamphetamine addict at that time. But I wasn't living with my mom and dad. I was staying with my friend Nikki, and then me and Robert broke up. And I started staying with my friend Sonia and her mom because her mom was like super cool. And my parents, of course, they wanted me to move back in with them and live with them. But I couldn't stay sober, and that was one of their rules. If I couldn't stay sober, then I couldn't stay at their house, you know? So me and Robert ended up breaking up because I was very promiscuous at this time. I was cheating on him. A lot of it had to do with me doing drugs and doing all the dope I was doing, hanging out with the people I was hanging out with. And when we broke up, I was very, very sad. For about a year, I slept with a body pillow, you guys, that was the size, a human being, like a body pillow. And I would sleep with that body pillow at night because I was just so sad, and I felt so horrible because I really did care about him a lot. I just was making some stupid mistakes because I was a drug addict, right? Well, after about a year, and I started to feel like I could, date again. I was at a party. Well, I don't want to say party. I was at a meth cook's house. I'm telling you guys, like, I got addicted to meth and I threw myself straight into the game. And when I mean game, I mean like I was hanging out with people who manufactured methamphetamine. I wasn't a drug dealer. I wasn't a queen pin. I was just a little dope whore. Okay. So I was over at the meth cook's house. His name was Flash, and he was cooking some dope off in his little shack that he lived in. And while I was there, there was this guy that I was sitting on the couch in the living room of this little shack. It was like a legit little shack, you guys. And I was sitting in the living room, and while I was sitting there, this guy with dark brown hair, like my hair color, dark, 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 dark brown, came out from the back bedroom down the hallway, and he had dark, dark brown hair, green eyes, very prominent nose, very like New York / Italian nose, and he just was cute as can be. Let me see if I have a picture of him. I know I do. Let me get it. It's right here, I think. I think. These are old pictures I had pulled out the other day. And he came out from the back room, and it was LD. It was LD. And little did I know that he had just got done shooting up a 40-unit dose of methamphetamine at that time. I had no idea. But anyway, he came out from there, and he sat down on the couch. I guess I don't have a picture of him. Anyways, and we got talking, just shooting the shit, and we talked for like hours straight. And by the time we were done talking, I gave him my phone number and said, hey, give me a call sometime. Maybe we could go out and kick it or whatever. So a couple days went by, and he called me. And I said, why don't we hang out? I can come over after work. And so he said, okay. And I went over to his grandmother's house, okay? I didn't know, who he was or who he lived with or anything like that. And that's the night that I found out that he was homeless. He was basically couch hopping between his grandma's house, his sister's house, his brother's house, just all these people that he was related to, but he didn't have like his own place to live, right? And I can relate to that because I was doing the same damn thing. I was couch hopping between all my friends' houses, right? Um, I sorry y'all. God bless him. Oh yeah, I found out that he was couch hopping just like me. So I decided, you know what? I really liked him. We dated. We talked to each other. I would go over to his house, and or his grandma's house, and we would hang out for a little while. And I just really, really fell in love with him. And you know what I realized now that I'm older? I realized that a lot of the reasons why I fell in love with him was because I felt like I could help him, and I could fix him. And I tend to take people underneath my wing like that all the time. And even still to this day, I've just gotten a lot better about being healthy with it and not doing things that could hurt me, But at this time, I had no awareness of that, and I was just, like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna save this guy, and I'm gonna help him become a better person and get his life right. Meanwhile, I'm smoking and snorting methamphetamine, right? Like, what the hell was I thinking, y'all? But he had a bad situation. He was on probation. He had nowhere to live. Like, being with me was a step up in the world for him, right? So, what I should have done is I should have reached out for help with my own addiction at that time. And, I just don't think my parents were as aware that I was struggling that badly because like I said, because I had a job, you guys. Because I had a job, because I was working. I had a job. I was paying my car payment. I was paying my credit card bills. I was doing the things, right? My parents, I just don't think they realized how bad my addiction really was. But Kevin, hold on a second, y'all. I go live like every day, boy. Every day. I'm live in the mornings. Every day on YouTube. I'm about to hit 3,000 subscribers. I'm at like 2,300. And just talking about whatever I want to talk about. But today we're talking about addiction. But I talk about everything. I talk about addiction. I talk about recovery. I talk about people's bullshit and fuckery online. Everything. Oh, he's on the wrong channel. No. I'm like, what is he talking about? I'm on my Nicole's Accountability channel, and I cannot monetize my channel. Like, I will never be able to monetize my channels because I am evading a ban. You know what? There's like people that are, I guess, I don't know what they're doing online, but they're like trying to talk shit about me, right? And there's this one guy in particular who used to follow Kevin. I don't know if he does anymore, but he's like trying to figure out, oh gosh, there's got to be something that Nicole's doing that is wrong, right? And so people are talking about me like because I'm doing my Patreon. I cannot monetize my channel because I'm evading a ban, okay? Like, I don't know how much more clear I need to get with saying that, but this channel's not monetized, you know? That is why I'm pushing my Patreon so hard and telling you guys, come join Patreon, come join Patreon, come join Patreon, because I cannot monetize my channel. A lot of you are like, well, do it under Neil's name. It's my IP address, okay? I cannot monetize my channel because it's connected to my husband is my husband, you know? So just so everybody knows, like, that's what's going on. Like, I don't know what else I need to say for people to understand it, but I cannot monetize my channel, you guys. So anyways, back to my story. So, sorry about that. I just wanted to say that because he had texted me about it, and I wanted to make it clear. I'm not on my Nicole Recovers channel a lot because I've been just posting everything on this channel. So I have two channels, for those of you guys that don't know. I have a channel called Nicole Recovers, and it's got almost 300 people on it. And then, in fact, I'll just get the link for it. And I would love for you guys to come over there if you would like to. I haven't uploaded on there as much, but I will if that's something you guys would be interested in me doing. If you would be interested in me posting more content on my Nicole Recovers channel, I will do that for you guys. So I guess what I'm trying to get to here while I'm telling you guys the story about how my addiction started was my addiction started, you guys, because of an eating disorder. Okay, because of an undiagnosed eating disorder. At the time, it was undiagnosed, and struggle mentally with not getting mental health help that I needed. And a lot of the reasons why this kind of stuff happened back then is because in the early 90s, nobody, because I was born in 82, for those of you guys that don't know, people didn't talk about mental health like you guys talk about it now. People will just say, oh, well, you need to get your shit together, right? You obviously got your shit fucked up, so you need to get it together. And people didn't talk about, struggling with mental health or any of those things. And so while I was struggling with mental health struggles and an eating disorder, my dad, bless his heart, love him to death, was like, you just need to get your shit together, girl, You just need to work harder. And a lot of the things that my dad would say, I did them. I worked harder. I threw myself into my jobs. I worked multiple jobs, sorry guys. I worked multiple jobs and, at a time. I had 3 jobs at one time in my life. When I was with LD, paying for all of our shit, paying for all of our drugs, paying for our rent, paying for my car payment and insurance, paying for his car payment and insurance, paying for, our utilities and our TVs and our phones and everything. That was me. I paid for all that, and that's how I was able to kind of, I guess you could say, I wasn't undetected. Everybody knew I was a junkie, okay? If you ask people in Hot Springs about me from the past, they'll tell you, Nicole was addicted to drugs bad, okay? I did not hide it. I shot up, You could walk up on me in the Sonic parking lot, shooting up before my shift, like I struggled. People knew it. But it was almost like, she's responsible though. She has a job. She's paying her shit. She's doing what she's supposed to do, And that's how it was when I lived in Hot Springs. Now, what ended up happening was I started to get to a point with my drug use where I was unable to hold my jobs. It started to affect my employment and I started losing my jobs. That's when I started to fall apart. That's when I started losing I wasn't paying my bills anymore. Thank God I had paid my car off already. So that's why I was able to stay functioning for so long, because I paid my car off. So I had vehicle, I had wheels, that's how I got by for so long, because I still had a vehicle to roll around in. It just was the fact that the reason why I was able to do this is because my dad had always taught me, pay your bills, pay your car payment, pay your insurance. And all those lessons he had taught me about being responsible ended up really helping me to continue my drug addiction, because I was able to continue rolling around Hot Springs, Arkansas in my car because it was paid off, homie. And so crazy. If you think about it, it's crazy. I was able to keep myself going for so long, you guys, because I had my own transportation. Transportation's a big deal when you live in a city, in a place where it's not like a big city where you guys can walk from place to place, right? You have to go everywhere in your car. And so that's what kept me in the going, being able to keep on going, is because I had transportation. Now, while I was in my relationship with LD, I didn't even think about recovery. I was so sick in my addiction, and he started to abuse me so bad, beating me up and stuff. And when I tell you guys this, I'm serious. I'm not fucking trying to get attention. I'm not trying to fucking be I was in a DV relationship. It's cool. This motherfucker would bounce my head off the concrete. Okay? I got a concussion so bad that when I would stand up, my body would collapse like a fucking tree. Timber! Crash! Okay? It was horrible. Okay? And I was so brainwashed and stuck in this toxic relationship that I thought I could change him. Okay? I thought I could change him. I thought that he would be different for me, right? So stupid. And so I stayed in this relationship with this man for 6 years, okay? From 2001 till 2006. Oh, it's 5 years. There you go, 5 years. Okay? Once we finally separated our ways, and the only reason we did was because he cheated on me, dude. He cheated on me and robbed me. I woke up one morning after being high on methadone wafers and Xanax. I had came home that night from my second job, Sonic. I had just got fired from my first job, the revenue office. And I came home, I was fucking depressed, and I went to go lay down. Didn't think nothing about it. Thought he would be home later on. And when I woke up the next morning, I had been robbed. All my diamond jewelry, gone. All my necklaces, gone. I loved jewelry. I bought a lot of it because I had credit. Everything was gone. So I called around trying to find him. I didn't even think he was the one who robbed me. I didn't realize it was him. I thought it was the Terry twins. And I tell you all about these twins so much because they were thieves. They robbed everybody. So I thought it was them. I called around, finally got a hold of his sister. And that's when his sister fucking spared me finally and said, he ain't going to come back, Nicole. He's cheating on you with my friend Ashley. And I was like, oh, thank you for letting me know. You know, like, thank you for telling me. Shit. So I went to Walmart and I got fucking trash bags and boxes. And that's when I ran into those fucking four country dudes and asked them to help me get the fuck out of Dodge. Me and my friend Nikki, she was letting me move in with her. And I said, will you guys please help me? I'm in an abusive relationship and I'm afraid if he comes home that he will fucking beat the shit out of me. And so these four country boys who I'd never met a day in my life brought their Dodge trucks over and helped me move out of the house in 30 minutes. It literally took me 30 to 45 minutes and we packed everything. I cleaned that whole motherfucking house out. His dad was screaming and yelling, pissed as fuck. And I was sitting there just taking everything. Everything. So he deserved it. He deserved for me to take everything, okay? Just know that. So I walked out of there. I left. I took everything. And that's when I went downhill even more in my addiction. And it wasn't even 4 months after I moved away from LD that I was in treatment. I had entered into treatment. My first treatment center I'd ever been into. And it was a treatment center. It was, It was Quapaw House. Quapaw House Incorporated. Oh, I'm so sorry, Quinn. That makes me mad that happened to you. You know? And, I did some fucked up shit in my days, you guys, but, when I finally got help and got better in 2015, my son, my baby, saved my life. And he's the reason why I'm alive today. But I wanted to share that with you because one of you guys asked me to talk about how I became addicted to drugs. And that's how. It started out with a eating disorder that was undiagnosed, and I, struggled with that for many years and was seeking out, ways to lose weight fast besides starving myself, and I ended up, getting Adipex and then getting amphetamines, and then using methamphetamines. And I wish sometimes that I could go back and make changes and not do that, but it made me who I am today. And now I'm able to help other people because I've been through that, and that to me is important. Like, yes, I went through some bad shit because I was using drugs, but I have been able to turn my life around, and now I'm able to use my story to help other people, Hey, Nikki, what's up, baby? And I love helping other people. I've loved helping people since I was, like I said, since I was a younger kid. But I didn't know how to do it back then in a healthy way. Back then, I would do things like buy people a car and pay their bills and, be taken advantage of by people who saw that kindness and goodness in me. But everything that I ever did was because I worked fucking hard for it. I always bought my own shit. I always had multiple jobs. And that's why I'm such a stickler on people, especially people in the recovery community, about, working hard to get to where you've gotten. You can't just come out the gate expecting people to trust you and do this, that, and the third. It takes work. It takes dedication. It takes being honest. And a lot of people in today's day and age, especially in the recovery community, they want to get sober and then come online and start charging people for, sober help. But they just got onto the scene. They haven't even worked to build their reputation or their fucking anything, and they're already ready to try to hustle folks. And to me, that's just fucked up. That's why I'm really adamant. Like, I've been a lot more careful about the people that I send you guys to or recommend that you talk to, because a lot of people don't care about helping anybody. All they care about is helping themselves and bettering themselves in their own situation. It's never been about helping anybody. And that to me is like, those are predator people in the recovery community. And I don't want any of my people to be taken advantage of. You know what I mean? Hold on. I need milk. Can you grab milk, some corn in the can, and I can make chicken casserole. And butter. Daddy's grabbing some stuff for us to eat. So, okay, now let me see what y'all are saying, because I was trying to just share with you guys a little bit about my story, and then that's why I haven't been reading y'all's comments. Me too, Quinn. Me too, Dana. They gave me confidence too, baby. Yeah, don't give up, Quinn. Listen to me, and I want to say something about that. Don't give up. Don't give up. But let me tell y'all something. I take suicidal ideations really, really seriously. If you come here and I find out who you are, I will call 911 and send them to your house. Okay? So please, 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 okay? Don't say that, because I want to share a story with you, okay? My friend, in 2017, I think it was, I was, 2 years sober. My friend Ashley, we were in treatment together. We went to through the same treatment center in Little Rock, and then we were neighbors. We lived right beside each other in the apartments at the sober living house. Okay? And we had become really good friends. She had found me after I got sober and asked me to be a mentor for her. So I was, and we had got to be really good friends. We were talking on the phone every single day. Well, she called me one day, and she had accidentally sent me a picture on Instagram, and I opened up the picture, and it was a picture of her neck. And there was purple and red, greenish color bruise of a rope ligature around her neck. Trigger warning, everybody. And I called her, and I said, I'm calling the hospital, I'm calling the emergency room, I'm calling 911, and I'm sending them to your house right now. This is fucked up. You're not going to commit suicide. I cannot fucking have this happening on my motherfucking watch. Like, I was freaking out, and I was calling the police to have them to go check on my friend, and she sat there and cried and screamed and begged me not to tell anybody. Begged me. Okay? She said she wouldn't do it again. She was sorry. She just had a lapse in judgment, and she just was sorry. She wasn't going to do it again. She promised. 1 week later, on a Wednesday, I was driving to Hallmark, because I still worked at Hallmark. This is before I got my job working with Dr. B. And my phone started dinging, and it was a messenger on Facebook message. So I opened up the messenger, and it said, the first 3 lines said, by the time this letter reaches you, I'll already be gone. I knew right then. I called her mom and dad immediately and said, please go check on Ashley. I think she might have taken her own life. And that's when her dad told me that she hung herself the night before. I could have stopped that from happening if I had called 911 the first time. I knew I should have. So, okay, sorry about that. So I take that real seriously, you know? Please don't say that. Please don't do that. It's like not worth it. It hurts everybody else. Everybody else is going to be crying and screaming and yelling and upset and depressed and hurt. Like I've carried the guilt from the not being able, not calling when I should have since 2017. I still fucking feel guilty about that shit. You know? Um, I still feel guilty about this shit, you know? So, anyway, um, she had, I don't know if she had somebody send me the messenger, but it was from her Facebook account. And it was directions. It was directions of how she wanted me to run her Instagram after she died. How she wanted me to make sure that her legacy was remembered. People remembered her for her. She played the piano. When I tell you guys, this girl was a fucking prodigy, okay? She could play the piano by ear, anything. Beethoven, fucking all those famous composers, she could get on the piano. She was obsessed with the Beatles. She could play any Beatles song you wanted to fucking listen to. She was cool as fuck, dude. Her name was Ashley Shelton, okay? Blonde hair, blue eyes, exactly the opposite of me. Tiny, little body, quiet, introvert, me. Wow, yeah! You know? And she was so fucking good. Music was her, she was really, really talented. Really talented. And so, you know, she wanted me to make sure that I posted on her Instagram, which I have and I do. And I still have access to her Facebook and her Instagram and everything. And I had to message all of her friends when all this happened and let them know what happened, you know. And I remember what was so sad about this whole situation, which really made me upset, was her parents didn't even have a memorial service for her. So a lot of the reasons why she took her own life was because of her mom and dad. She struggled with heroin addiction. And after I got sober, she got sober for a little bit, but then she relapsed. And she had moved into this house with this older man, and this older man was just feeding her heroin. And basically he was using her for, you know, and that's how she was getting her heroin for free. Well, she finally escaped him, and the way she had to escape him was she was trying to get away from him, and he took her arm, put it on a table, and broke it in half. Broke her arm in half, like this, snapped it in half over a table. And that's how she got away from him. Took him to court, pressed charges against him and everything. After she went to court and everything like that, and she moved back in with her mother and father, her mom and dad were the meanest people in the whole wide world. They treated her like she was scum of the earth. Like she was... They were so ashamed of her because she was a drug addict. And that's what we talked about a lot. We would talk about her struggles with her depression and her mom and dad and how they treated her. And y'all know me. At this time, I lived in that big house in Little Rock because we rented from my mother-in-law. And I always told her, why don't you just come down here? You can rent a room from us, and I'll help you get on your feet. I would help you find a job.
Mom, can you read down with me when she drives?
Yeah, hold on, Nate. And I would, you know, help her get on her feet. But I think she knew that she wasn't staying sober. And at that time, when she lived with her mom and dad, she was taking Imodium AD, like 90 pills. And if you know anything about Imodium AD, it can work in the same way an opioid does in large doses, okay? And so my friend was addicted to Imodium AD. And she knew that she probably knew she was in a bad place, and she didn't want to come down here and, you know, get me mixed up in any of that. But, like, I think about it all the time. I think about it every day about how if I had called 911, she would still be here today. So I just want y'all to know, like, if y'all ever say that kind of stuff and I know where to find you, I will call 911. That's why I told y'all that story. So, anyway. sorry to get a little emotional on you, but it's just something that's really, really fucked me up, and I still feel so much guilt and shame to this day. So I hope you guys enjoyed hearing about how I became addicted. Like, what was it that kind of triggered me in my addiction? Which, like I said, it was eating disorder. And that's why, you guys, like, that's why now, even though that's why I struggle with my weight, you guys. Like, go out and relapse because, like, I have, like, yeah, so I'm a chunky thing. Big deal. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather be a chunky thing and, be a little mad about that and fucking than be out there on methamphetamine. But back when I was younger, I didn't have the mind I have today. I didn't have the confidence I have today. And I allowed my mind to trick me into thinking that, being skinny was where it's at. And if I was only skinny, I would feel better about myself. But let me just tell y'all something. When I was skinny, guess what? I felt the fucking same, dude. I felt the same way I feel now. Like, I was still sad back when I was skinny. You know what I mean? So, like, it was a waste of fucking time, dude. I could have been enjoying food and eating all the goodness instead of fucking starving myself. And so, like, now that I'm older, I have learned that. And I'm like, fuck that shit. I would rather be a fatty any day than be the way I was back then and be depressed and sad and all that and fucking hungry. And so, man, I'm telling you guys, with age comes a lot of great stuff. Hey, Mark, have you been watching TikTok? What do I think of Patrick Sober Living? Oh, gosh. Graceland Ranch. I think that Patrick means well. I think he has a heart to help people, but I also think that place is hella expensive. It's $4,000 a month in rent to live there if you do sober living there. So that's not really accessible to many people, It is all 12-step based, strictly 12-step based. In the state of California, if you're a sober living, the only thing that you're really, did I trip something there? The only thing that you're really allowed to do is just do sober living, and he kind of oversteps the rules a lot, the laws, which are, you can't operate as a treatment center if you're sober living, and he operates like a treatment center because he has people there that are needing to detox, which is against the law. And it's dangerous too, because if somebody goes there and they still need to detox and they have a seizure and die, that's going to be on him. He'll be held liable for that, Oh, hey girl, I got this shirt from Urban Outfitters. It was on sale too for like $16, I think. So that's where I get all my cool band t-shirts, from Urban Outfitters. But I got another shirt that's coming in the mail that y'all are gonna love. It says surviving purely on spite. And then I have another one that says, you don't have to die to be dead to me. So, when I make my next JK exposure video, I'm gonna wear one of those one of those shirts. Let me show y'all what the shirts look like. They're really cool. I got them from a place, they're coming in the mail, called Untamed Ego. If y'all want to check them out, Untamed Ego. So. Hold on. They're super cute. Hey, Nate. Dad's on his way home, buddy. Oh, here we go. Y'all, I love t-shirts. And I feel my most comfortable in t-shirts because like I said, I'm overweight. And I would rather have like a cute t-shirt on than wear something that's too tight that I feel uncomfortable in, Oh yeah, so I got this one that says, I believe in grudges. I believe in holding grudges. I'll heal in hell. Okay. And then I got this one. Did I get this? I can't remember if I got surviving purely out of spite. I can't remember if I ordered this one with that one or if I ordered you don't have to die to be dead to me. I can't remember which two I ordered, but it was out of the three, that's two of those. So it's called Untamed Ego, and their shirts are so cool, and they give you like, so I got 10% off my first shirt, and then after that they sent me another thing for like 15 or 20% off. So that's why I bought the second one. But yeah, I just wanted to come on here because I told you guys I would share with y'all, about how my addiction started. And that's how it started. It started from an eating disorder, and it progressed. It got worse because my family was uneducated, My family was uneducated on the disease of addiction and what to do to help me, So that's why I think it's so important. Like, if you're somebody who has somebody that struggles with addiction, that like educating yourself on the disease of addiction and how to help somebody, helping them get into mental health help, detox, and residential some kind of treatment is so important. And don't go on to. So I see so many people make videos and they say, does anybody know where I can get help? I want to explain something to you guys, okay? There's so many predators in the recovery industry that only want to help you because you make them money, okay? Those are the body brokers, right? And when you put yourself on the internet and you say, help me, I need to find somewhere to go, what you're going to do is you're going to attract, if you have money in a PPO insurance, all these fucking predators, because that's what they're looking for. They're looking for vulnerable people to take advantage of that have insurance and money. Okay? So don't do that. Do your research. Go online. Call up these places. Go tour the building. Read, you can't even trust the reviews, okay? You can't even trust the reviews. You don't want to know why? Because a lot of these treatment centers pay people to leave good reviews. My friend Brandy, I told you guys the story about her daughter in a live a week ago. It was an older live, but it was a good live, okay? And my friend Brandy's daughter, she went to this place called Maryland Recovery, MARC. It's called MARC, Maryland Addiction Recovery Center, okay? And basically, it was a fucking bullshit flop. They kicked her off. They made her get off Suboxone. She'd been on Suboxone for over a year. She had a relapse. She got back on her Suboxone. They wouldn't let her stay on it, kicked her off of it. She ended up relapsing and leaving the motherfucking treatment center. Okay? There was some kind of interventionist guy that was involved in all of it. Some guy named Sam. And he was sharing her fucking medical information online, everything. So Brandy goes and she pulls this guy's credentials to see if he is even accredited, if he's even a real interventionist. And guess what? He let his intervention credentials lapse. The tea is piping hot. And he's on there like talking about her daughter and shit, and like has no business fucking talking about it, It's like, what? So yeah, anyway, these people, a lot of them only care about money and their ego. Okay? So you gotta be real careful with people online that you're seeking help from, okay? I'm telling you guys. I'm telling you, I love you. I don't want you to end up in a bad way. I don't want you to get taken advantage of. I don't want you to send so-and-so $200 and all they do is talk to you one time and never talk to them again. Because I've seen that happen with people, okay? I've seen people online who come and parade themselves around as recovery coaches, and they offer all this help, but then when you finally get connected with them, they don't do shit for you. They don't help you, right? Like, if you are meeting with somebody and you want them to be your coach, before you ever pay them, you guys should have a consultation. Okay? A consultation where you sit down and you share with that person what you want to achieve, and they share with whether or not they can help you achieve that. Okay? And there should be like clear-cut instructions on, this is what we're going to work on. This is our goal. This is how I can help you. Okay? Like, really, really be careful, you guys. Protect yourselves, okay? And like I said, I love y'all. I'll be there to help you any way I can. Yeah, flying you to their treatment center, that's illegal. Another thing, people got mad at me for saying that on TikTok. I made a video. I'm like, it's illegal to offer to fly you to their rehab. And everybody's like, why? Why? Intervention does it. Intervention is the worst example of anything you could ever use. They're so unethical. Like, what they do online by exposing people's most vulnerable moments when they're struggling in addiction, it's like, that's a money thing, you know? That's not even a good example. Hey, Tiff Star. Thank you, Quinn, for letting me know that, baby. Yeah, those shows don't give two shits about anybody, you know? And so, you know, I'm limited in what I can do. There's only so much I can do, you know? If you're in California and you need to see a doctor, I can get you hooked up with Dr. B, or I can help you find like a detox in your state and stuff like that, you know? But like, I don't have that many connections where I could just like get people into free treatment. You know what I mean? And a lot of people that reach out are struggling. They don't have insurance. They don't have money, right? And so what I always tell people that are in that position where they don't have insurance, they don't have money, you need to get yourself on state insurance, Medicaid, whatever you can. You know, there are a few free treatment centers, but I'm going to be straight up honest with you guys. These free treatment centers are faith-based, okay? You're going to be reading the Bible and puking your guts out because they ain't got a detox center, okay? And those places are dangerous. I don't even think they should be allowed to be operating. When somebody is coming off of drugs, especially alcohol and benzodiazepines, I believe that they need to be in a hospital setting for their detox. And then when they get out of that setting, they need to transition into a setting where there's still access to psychiatrists, a doctor, and a nurse. You know? That's why my friend Rachel died. You know, I'm going to have to make a separate video for that. I'm going to make 2 separate videos for Ashley and Rachel. You know, my friend Rachel died because the treatment center that she chose and got into, I told her not to go into the treatment center. It was a faith-based treatment center, and she was coming off of fucking benzos, fucking meth, fucking heroin, fucking fentanyl. And when she got down there, they didn't have the fucking capabilities to help her. She was so sick she left AMA, started walking down the street, you know? And she ended up getting home and overdosing. That's a whole nother story, though. That story right there will blow y'all's fucking minds. I have to retell it because all the stories I've told already that were on my old YouTube channel are deleted. But that story right there will blow y'all's fucking minds. For those of you guys that know the story I'm talking about, my friend that was a sex worker who was killed, and then her best friend was killed. It's pretty fucking wild, dude. Oh, I don't have your... Who's texting me? I don't have your number programmed. I need to program it. My heart, some of the stories you tell. Thank you. Hey, well, you know what? I have been helping people for a long time through social media, you know? And I talk to people on the daily. But in 2020, I think it was 2020 or 2021 when Rachel passed away. That was a very, very scary moment. Because I had never experienced anything like that before. And all these are experiences where I learned so much. You know, with this young lady that was a sex worker, I learned that helping people escape pimps, sex work that is like that, is not something I am capable of doing. I need to refer people out to places that can help people escape human trafficking. Because honestly, you guys, that girl needed to be placed in a safe home. And it wasn't anything I could do because I couldn't make her leave her pimp, right? And when she did finally like leave him, she was still texting him and talking to him on the phone and calling him behind our backs, you know? And so I didn't realize how bad it gets when somebody's struggling, even if it's because they're doing it because they are. She was saying she was voluntarily doing this sex work, but to me, it wasn't voluntary because he was feeding her fentanyl, right? And the only way she was able to get fentanyl was if she went out and worked. She had to bring him home $1,500 every night. If she didn't bring him home $1,500, in the 2 months I knew her, he broke her ribs and he knocked her the fuck out one time. And that to me is not doing it because you want to do it. It's doing it because you have a need that needs to be met. You're addicted to fentanyl. And so this person is providing you with the need, fentanyl. And so you're doing sex work in exchange. And when I tell y'all, I'll have to make it. I'm making a separate video for that fucking story. Because when I tell y'all, it's fucking devastating. And after it happened, I don't think I was right for like 6 months after that fucking shit happened. I was constantly looking over my shoulder. I was afraid that this fucking pimp from fucking Virginia was going to show up in Arkansas and kill me and my family. Like, it was really fucking scary. It was really fucking scary. But I learned, you know, people reach out to me every day for help, and I've learned so much about what I'm capable of helping with and what I'm not capable of helping with. And I think that's a very important quality to have when you're seeking help from somebody. If you find somebody who acts like they can help you with everything, and that's a red flag. You need to run for the motherfucking hills. Okay? Like, a person who is helping others needs to have the ability to say, I don't know how to help you, or I don't have the resources to do that. Because that's how you get into situations where people ended up like Rachel. She died, you know. I referred her to people against trafficking humans, which is called PATHS, but she refused to go there. And all I could do was tell her about this place, give her the information, give her friend the information, and tell them they could go there, they could call them, they could do this, and they would help them, right? But I couldn't make her do it, you know. And there's people out there who will act like they can do all this, that, and the third. And that's dangerous. That's how, like I said, that's how people end up dying. It's fucked up. Only one detox center per city? Really? In Canada? Oh, man, dude. That's fucked up. I know y'all got a bad drug problem there, too. Oh, okay. Okay. Wow. Oh, y'all are in early recovery, huh? Less than a year. So I'll tell y'all this, okay? It's from my professional point of view. No, the first 6 months to a year are so challenging, okay? And so if you can make it past those 6 months, past that year, you're going to be off to the races, baby. So hang in there. Don't give up. You know, don't give up. You know, the first year of my sobriety is a complete blur because I was in fight or flight mode because I was fighting for custody of my son. And I was so afraid that I was never going to see my son again. Because CPS tried to pull so much bullshit on me, and I rose above it every fucking time. They tried to pull the wool over my eyes. They tried to fucking accuse my husband of being an alcoholic when he don't even drink alcohol. It was the craziest shit I've ever been through in my life. But I fought tooth and nail, and I got my baby back. You know, that's why I don't joke around or take things lightly when people refer to my son and my situation, because Um, I fought for my son. I fought for my son. You know? So, anyways, I love you guys. I hope y'all enjoy hanging out with me today and doing this live. A lot of you guys were messaging me and y'all were saying, Nicole, where's the live from earlier? It's on my Patreon. The one with me and Captain talking about the JK situation, Tracy Noel's video, that is on my Patreon account. For those of you guys that are on my Patreon, $5 tier, I will be uploading the reading of my diary on Saturday. Then my son's birthday is July 4th, y'all. July 4th. So we're going to have his birthday this weekend, and we're going to the Urban Air Jump Zone place. And, but yeah, my baby's a 4th of July baby. He's going to be 9 years old. So I'm really excited about that. But I'll tell you some things that can help you guys, that for those of you guys that are in early recovery, like doing things like we're doing right now, like doing these live streams and being plugged in with a community that can support you is really, really important. We have a Telegram chat. If you guys are willing and want to join our Telegram chat, Pixie has been dropping a link. It's a Beacons link. You click that link, and then you'll see a little box that will give you access to a that will give you access to our group chat. It'll say recovery support chat. Okay, what you need to do is you need to download the Telegram first. Telegram app. Then go click the link and click that. Okay? But I love you guys. I got to go because I need to watch a video for one of my friends because they want me to give them some feedback on it. But I love you guys. I hope you have a great day, and I will see y'all tomorrow. Recovery is possible, okay? Yeah, you can, like I said, having that support group, I think is really awesome because it's a lot of people in there. And like Pixie's in there, Megan's in there, Sherry's in there, Allie's in there, Kimmy's in there. There's so many people in recovery that have long-term recovery that are in that chat. So that's an awesome thing. Getting plugged in and doing like little meetings like this. I love doing this kind of stuff where I can talk with people. I highly recommend you guys like getting out and hanging out with other sober people that have a lot more sober time than you, like a mentor or a sponsor, and doing like sober fun stuff, like going to the movies or going to miniature golf, because in early recovery it can be really, really boring, and that can get really discouraging. So if you need any support or anything, or want to talk, just hit me up on all my social medias. I answer everybody's messages when y'all message me. I'm pretty good about it. It's on my Telegram. It's a support chat. It's in the link that Pixie's been linking it. Let me get the link, y'all. Okay. Okay, so I just put a link in the chat. You click the link. I'm going to show you real fast, okay? You click that link. Okay, it's going to take you to a purple screen. That's my beacons, okay? You're going to scroll down the screen, and it's going to say recovery support chat in this big box right here. You click the support chat button, okay? And then it takes you to our chat. But you have to download the Telegram app first. So the Telegram app looks like this. Let me show it to y'all. It's this little blue arrow right here, okay? It says Telegram. You'll download the Telegram app, then click the Beacons link, and it will take you into our recovery chat. Okay? Okay. All right, you guys. I love y'all. See y'all tomorrow. I hope y'all have a good day. Patrons, my live from this morning is up in Patreon. And then I will see you guys July 1st for our diary reading. And then next week, you'll also get several videos with Neil in them where we're talking about the difference between what I remember and what he remembers, because it is fucking different, y'all. Every time I think about how different his recollection is of our drug addiction days and the fucking things we did, I cannot wait to tell y'all the story about the coffee grounds. Y'all are going to laugh at me, and wait till you hear it from Neil's point of view. Okay? All right. Love y'all. I'll see y'all later. Bye.